And we're back with author Diane Pirrone Gelman, who writes under the name DM Pirrone, for people who want to know. And I would advise anybody who liked Devil in the White City to please check out your books. These take place in 1873, 72, right after the Great Fire. And I feel like I'm there. How do you research this stuff? And why do you care so much about this period?
Well, it's important to get it right because, I mean, what you said about being there, that is exactly what you need to do when you're writing any book, but especially when you're writing a historical, because you're not, this is not the contemporary world. There's so much information you have to give people so that it feels real and it feels vivid, and yet you don't want to be talking them to death. So you have to work it into just people going through their everyday lives. So you have to know things like, what did they eat? What were the sidewalks made of? I actually found online, just I can do a lot of research online, I found a picture of old streets and sidewalks in Chicago, and these big pavement blocks that were in the streets, and the sidewalks are like these little bits of wood all kind of hammered together, and there's still an extant piece of that, and someone had snapped a picture of it, so I was able to find that. I also had to research for You Were Strangers, which is the latest book in the series. I had to look into the Civil War and the aftermath of it, because the plotline in that book concerns what came out of the Civil War, because it's only 7 years after. And I got a lot of information about the African-American community in Chicago and mulattoes, because they're African-American characters who play a significant role. And that was something I knew nothing about. So I did a lot of reading and just found some fascinating stuff.
I think the best books really make people care enough to do their own research. And I found myself going and looking at pictures of the Chicago fire, which I've lived here 15 years and I've never done, the before and afters. And you have one of those pictures on the cover of your book. For people who aren't aware of this time period, because it was so long ago, it's worth looking into.
Yeah, it is. And I use the Chicago History Museum a lot because they have photographs, they have artifacts, they actually have records of the people who went to inspect the homes of people who applied for aid to check that they were, the right kind of deserving poor people. And that's a plot element too.
You can save us a trip to the museum. We can simply read your books.